Let's now turn to the National Assembly, but our first stop is the Senate, where the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, on Thursday advocated for a review of the current envelope budgeting system for the Nigerian Army. He was at a joint session of the National Assembly's committees on Army to defend the proposed budget estimates for 2024. On the same day, the Senate criticized the Nigerian Correctional Service over the poor treatment of prisoners in its facilities nationwide and also called for a review of tax waiver policies in the country. We have details in this report.
Nigeria's Army Chief appears before members of the National Assembly for the ongoing budget defense session. The Joint Committee on Army begins the session by observing a minute of silence to honor victims of the aerial bombing by the Nigerian Army in Tudumbiri area of Kaduna State that killed scores of unarmed civilians. The Army Chief described the incidents as a regrettable error and assures that such errors will not reoccur.
What happened in Tudumbiri, Igabi, local government area of Kaduna State on 3rd of December this year was an error that the leadership and every personnel of the Nigerian Army regrets, and we are working to ensure that that does not repeat itself going forward.
General Taoreed informs the committee that the expansion of the Army has continued to impact significantly on the human resources and lean finances available to the Army's high command. He wants the lawmakers to critically review the envelope budgeting system it currently operates to address the challenge of inadequate funding.
I hope and I implore that these distinguished committees will passionately look into this with a view to taking the Army off the envelope budgeting system.
The lawmakers assured the Army Chief of effective legislative support to strengthen its operations.
If we look at the budget of our military spending today and compare it with the budgets of other countries very close here in Africa, we realize that the money we are spending on our military and the armed forces is nothing comparable to what other countries, especially in Africa, are spending.
Do our best to look at the budgets, look at the loopholes, make sure that we save some other costs to be able to provide for you to discharge your constitutional responsibility for protecting the lives of Nigerians.
Budget defense sessions continue at the National Assembly as ministries, departments and agencies of government present lawmakers with their proposed budget estimates. At the Committee on Interior, lawmakers were shocked by the 22 billion naira earmarked for feeding in the proposed budget of the Nigerian Correctional Service. The delegation of the Correctional Service, led by the Comptroller General Haliru Nababa, while giving a breakdown of its budget performance for 2023, reveals that they have more than 81,000 inmates in their custody, and 750 naira is used to feed each inmate on a daily basis. The Comptroller General further reveals that 800 naira each is also used to feed 900 guard dogs on a daily basis.
The service wrote a letter to the Honorable Minister of Interior requesting for requesting for government to introduce or make available 3,000 naira per day per inmate, which we did and submitted to the Minister, to the President, and we are waiting for approval.
The past President approved an increase of food ration from 450 to 750, and taking into consideration of these activities under the food ration, that money is grossly inadequate, sir.
Following this revelation, the committee did not hide its disappointment and described the treatment of the inmates as dehumanizing.
These inmates are not being fed 3 times a day. It's impossible. Not that it is your fault. You can't give what you don't have. But to try to rationalize it that you feed 3 times a day, You must have magician in your kitchen.
The Senate has continued interactions with relevant stakeholders on the most effective ways to shore up revenues for the implementation of the proposed 2024 budget. The Senate's Committee on Appropriation raised concerns about the manner with which tax waivers are granted in the country without recourse to the National Assembly. Nigeria's Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, confirmed that the country lost approximately 3 trillion naira to waivers in 2023. The lawmakers believe this arrangement has created huge loopholes in the system and has left the country financially drained.
All money, 100%, will be paid into the consolidated revenue fund. And I'm coming, and I will put mechanism in place to address any kind of gap that might happen by the time of commencement the following year.
There are all kinds of incentives that are taken up front, like duty waivers and even tax incentives. And I think with your support, we would like to change from a system just in line with what you are saying.
To block leakages in the system, the Senate's committee advised the federal government to ensure that all monies belonging to it should be remitted into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the federal government.
If that can be achieved, it will make the target set for revenue more rational.
Look at these illegalities, remove them tomorrow, please. Then let's move ahead. If not, this country is being drained by some loopholes. The problem is our loopholes in our revenue collection that is killing this country.
In another development, the Senate expressed disappointment at the failure of the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, to appear before its Senate committee. The Senate's Appropriation Committee has now issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the NNPCL GMD and the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to appear before it with all the list of individuals and companies with operating OML licenses. TVC News, Abuja.